If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're lacking quality of prospects and you're jumping on calls with people who don't want your services, people who give you 1,000 objections, people who don't have the money, and at the end of the day, you are just wasting all your time sitting on these calls. And today, I'm going to show you the entire breakdown from start to finish, how you can bring in a lot more quality people, the ones that want to move forward, the ones that are going to give you 30,000 objections, and the ones that have the money to pay in full. In the month of November alone, I went on to close $27,000 with a full brand new offer. There was no proof of concept beforehand. I went out to the market with a complete brand new offer with qualified people coming through, and we closed 3 PIFs with $7,500 paid in full, objectionless sales. So again, in this video, you're going to see exactly that. Obviously, there's some proof just to show it. Right in the month of November, there's a couple sales. So stay tuned, and we're going to break down the entire thing from start to finish. Okay, so there's a couple different things I want to show you guys. Obviously, to bring in the higher quality people, making sure you're talking to prospects that actually want to work with you beforehand, because the sale happens long before the actual sales call, and that's the more important part, and this is going to help you with that. The last 3 sales that I mentioned to you guys, I literally got on the sales call and they all paid in full and there was no objections. Show them what I do, and it's like, yeah, how do we move forward? It's as easy as that, and I want to show you today. First things first is what we call our pixel. Okay, so a majority of what I'm going to talk about is going to be geared towards your pixel. Now, what is a pixel? So if you're on Facebook, you obviously are going to do things, for example, like fill out a form, book a call, whatever you're getting your prospect to do. Maybe you help e-com companies, like businesses, and you see they have the purchases. Whatever it is that you're getting the prospect to do. So when they click on the ad, what is the action being taken? That is, in a sense, what you're optimizing for. Now, when you first start out, how your ad account works is it targets everyone. Okay, it targets everyone, and it figures out as time goes on, okay, like who am I going after? All right, so the people that are landing in the results tab, that's who I'm going for. From there, you are sending your people, your prospects to, do an action. So click on my ad to book a call. Click on my ad and fill out the form. Click on my ad, or send them to a page and they buy something. So that is the action that will be taken. Again, it could be like filling out a form. It could be scheduling a call, so they're booking a call. It could be them filling out a landing page form. It could be anything like that. It could be a purchase. And with that, what happens, like I mentioned, you take the data and you send it to the pixel. On the back end, what does that really look like opened up? So on our ad, we shoot the people to a landing page or do whatever. For me, I have seen the best SaaS stack or the best automation stack is Typeform and Calendly. So what I'm doing is I'm taking people from the ad, okay, and I'm gearing them towards a landing page. On that landing page, I also have the application. What I mean by application is I have the Typeform on the same page right below, let's say like my VSL, whatever you have. Right below that is the application. Okay. Now, a lot of people, they screw up is they do landing page. Okay, so you send them from the ad, the landing page, and then you send them to the application page. With me, everything is in the exact same spot. Everything is tied together. Why? Because I want to create, I don't want to create much friction. Okay, my friction is going to be in the form itself. So on the form, I use Typeform and Calendly simply because in Typeform they can fill out a couple questions and it automatically redirects them to Calendly without having to do more like loading pages and stuff like that. So it's super, super seamless, and it just gives me the best cost for the most qualified people. First things first. Okay, the first part of this qualification process is you're going to have a couple questions. Your qualification questions can sound like, how much revenue are you making per month, or what's your annual revenue, or how many people you have on a sales team, or how many sales calls are you booking per day, how many sales calls are you booking per month. Anything to justify, okay, how big is this person? That's what we're trying to figure out. Once we figure that out, then we can say, okay, this is the person that can go through or not. So negative 5K, let's just say under 5K a month, right? We don't want to work with those guys. Then you got like, okay, this is 20K, all right, 20K plus and whatever, so on. Okay, 30K, 40K, so on. You guys understand. Anyone who is in this first question, they answer the first question with this answer here, I want to disqualify them. I can't help them. Doesn't matter what it is. They had all the skills. They really want to work with me. Because they don't have the money, they don't have the investment, I can't help them. But these guys here, I can help. This is 30K, imagine, I can help, and so on, right? So these 3 here, I'm going to be able to help. What I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect these people to a confirmation page. On that confirmation page, it's going to basically have the pixel. On the pixel is, again, they took a certain action, they're a certain person who's qualified, and it's going to grab their data and go from there, okay? Now, regardless if you had a Typeform and to book a call, or it's just they're filling out a form, you want to understand this. If you have a calendar, you want to make sure that the pixel's on the calendar page. So once they book a call, it redirects them to a page. Put the pixel on that page. Over here, on the type form, wherever you send them after that type form, if you're not getting them to book a call, you put the pixel on that page. Okay. Now keep in mind, you need to have separate pages. You can't have the same page or a confirmation page for an unqualified person and a qualified person, or else it's going to ruin this entire process. So here, if anyone answers with this first answer here, the 5K and under, well then we're going to in a sense call them trash. Now, not that they're a bad person, but it's just not someone that we in a sense look at as qualified, right? So with that, we are not going to collect that data and send it back to the pixel. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to capture that, keep it for ourselves, right? You can send that to your sales team who maybe you have new people on the team, non-experienced, and you want them to just practice, right? They can take those leads. On the other side of things, on the flip side, we're going to have the guys who are qualified, right? So that's anyone who answers 2, 3, or 4. When they're qualified, okay, we're going to consider as good data. All in here is the good data, right? These are good guys. And then what's going to happen, Facebook's algorithm, Facebook's AI is going to say, okay, what's the common interest amongst these people? It's XYZ. That is, in a sense, a qualified person. What we want to do is send that information back to your pixel because we want our account to say, hey, that's a qualified person. Go tackle and look for more people. So anyone who lands in this section here, the results tab, is you telling your Facebook account, hey, you did a good job. You got exactly who I'm looking for. Now go look for more people like that. So if you're sending unqualified people to this section here, just know that Facebook account is going to go look for more unqualified people. It's really, really important. You need to understand that the people coming through, they have to be qualified. If you're not qualifying people the correct way, your Facebook account is going to be flooded with unqualified people. That's probably why your show rate sucks. That's probably why your close rate sucks. That's probably why you find your sales reps get on calls and it's just like convincing the prospect to close. Instead of just having them come through, ask a couple questions like buyer questions. Instead, you have to deal with this entire process. I got to think about this, so I don't trust you, and all this stupid stuff. People don't want to pay in full. When you can do that, you're going to get on calls and you're going to cash collect a shit ton of money. The last 3 sales calls I've taken are $7,500 paid in full simply because I didn't have to convince them. I just showed them like, hey, you had this problem. Here's what I do. Oh, you already know who I am? Okay, perfect. You want to move forward? Yeah, awesome. This is, in a sense, what it looks like. So you have a qualified, this is your pixel, right? You're sending all your data back. Let's say in the beginning, you got things figured out, right? You're sending good data back. It looks all fine and dandy, right? This is how it's going to look. Everything's going to be super qualified. Now, as time goes on, let's say the first, 1 to 2 weeks, everyone's qualified. Like your messaging is good. You're talking to good people, right? Everything's rocking and rolling. Okay. First 1 to 2 weeks, everything's qualified. Now, as time goes on, whether you make new ads, you are increasing your ad spend, you're going to reach more people. What might happen is in, let's say, weeks 2 to 3, you're going to have a little bit of unqualified people in. Okay, maybe again, you change your ads, messaging was not as clear as it was, or whatever may have happened. You're now reaching a bigger audience. So without failure, there's always going to be someone who's coming through who's unqualified. If you're reaching a bigger audience, it's bound to happen. You're going to have qualified guys come through. Let's just say this is 90% qualified. Okay, 90%, and then this is the 10% of which who are unqualified. This is still good. This is amazing. But the problem is, if we don't fix anything, right, if we allow these 10% of people to continuously come through and we tell Facebook, hey, this is a qualified person, keep it up, what do you think Facebook's going to do? There's a lot more unqualified people than there is qualified. So when you're telling Facebook, hey, this is a qualified person, and they're not qualified, well, Facebook goes, oh, shit, this has got a whole lot easier. I can find 1,000 more of these people instead of the 90% of qualified guys where there's a lot less of them. You got to keep in mind, if you're telling your Facebook account to look for the unqualified, they will find it. And if you don't switch things, here's what happens. So let's just say this is 30% of which who are unqualified. So these guys aren't even qualified anymore. And now only about 70% are of which qualified, right? Now you can imagine, if we don't fix things still, what's going to happen? Well, slowly but surely, you will have it to the point where this is your qualified, right? Everyone here is your qualified, and it's complete opposite. 90% or 100% qualified, 90% to complete opposite, where it's like 10% of which are qualified, and now 90% are unqualified. We don't want these guys, because if this has happened, it might even be happening to you right now. This is why everything sucks. Your cost per acquisition sucks. Your cost per show call sucks. Your show rate, like all that stuff is tanked simply because it's not that your offer sucks. It's probably because you were targeting in your Facebook accounts like, hey, let's go after this person. So it's really, really important. I've seen many ad accounts where they just shit the bed simply because of this issue here. It's very important as an advertiser, as a marketer, whether it's for you, it's for your clients, that you are only letting the qualified people come through. Everything increases. Your show rate increases, your appointments increase, the conversations you have, the quality of them is going to increase. Everything increases when you talk to qualified people. Your sales cycle is the only thing that doesn't increase. It gets a little shorter, right? Because people are coming through and they already know what you want or what you do, how you do it. They're really qualified. They got the money, they got the budget, they got the problem that you can solve. These people you can help, okay? So that's all starts with your pixel, and then from there you're going to get into more in-depth things. So again, guys, if you're new to the channel, first off, I want to welcome you in. My name is Dorian. Other than that, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.